Welcome to Season 3 of The Breakdown, the official podcast of the Breakaway Roping Journal and calfroping.com. This season, we're diving into both the breakaway and calf roping like never before, bringing you the personalities, successes, and horses that make these events great.
You can expect training tips from the top ropers, stories from the road, and industry news that goes beyond the numbers.
I'm Taylor Vollen, your calf roping host.
And I'm Lillian Kent, your breakaway host.
And this is The Breakdown. Welcome back to the Tie-Down Breakdown, everyone. It's your host, Taylor Vollen. Last time we met, we talked about the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza, which is going to be a huge breakaway open coming this fall, and I am actually going to tell you guys a little bit about it later in this episode. But today, I'm introducing you guys to someone. Each year, a new group of guys join the pro rodeo scene with hopes of taking home the coveted Resistol Rookie of the Year title. Today, I'm introducing y'all to a Resistol Rookie of the Year contender, Piloto. Gio is a Brazilian tie-down roper, and he's currently number 10 in the Resistol rookie standings with $7,363.06 won on the year thus far. Lillian, the host of the Breakaway Breakdown, caught up with him for us, thank you Lillian, to get his life story and just kind of check in with him as he heads out for the rest of the summer. I hope you guys enjoy hearing his story, brought to you by the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza. If you haven't heard about the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza, make sure you stay tuned.
All right, good morning, Gio. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm great. I'm glad I'm finally able to catch up with you, and we're going to dive into the background of our globe-trotting Resistol Rookie of the Year candidate.
Perfect.
Awesome. So we'll dive right in. First things first, tell me a little bit about where you're originally from and what growing up in Brazil was like.
Well, I'm from Botucatu, São Paulo, Brazil. Um, it's a pretty good sized town. I grew up living in town, and not much of a horse family or anything like that. My dad always had some horses, uh, some reining horses. He used to breed a little bit, but nothing like professional, just as a hobby. And I always been in love with horses, since day one. I remember when my first memories were around horses. Um, my my dad, he was a fighter. He was a judo fighter
Oh my gosh.
In the Brazilian team, and I did that a little bit too, growing up. And so I think I was about 6 or 7 years old. I started running barrels a little bit. That's what my dad would let me. He said that would be good for me to learn how to ride correctly and stuff. So that's what I did. Um, but I always wanted to rope. I never really liked running barrels. Barrel racing is pretty big in Brazil, even for mans and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
mainly for mans. But I always wanted to rope. All my friends would team rope. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to team rope. And my dad, as being an athlete, he was like, "No, if you want to rope, you need to rope calves. It's more athletic and it's better for yourself. It's just on you. You don't have to count on anybody else. It's just up to you." And I really never had watched calf rope or paid much attention at calf roping before. And so my dad gave me an NFR DVD from 2008.
Mm.
So that's when I watched Codio at the NFR for the first time, and I was like, well, that I think that's what I want to do, like I might want to give a shot at that. And I had a friend that roped calves, and he invited me to come over, and I went over there. My dad would take me over there, and the first time I roped a calf, I just fell in love.
Oh,
I
that's
really fell
great.
in love. I fell in love with the sound of a rope, the feel of a rope, and every aspect of calf roping. I just fell in love, and I think from since day one that I realized that's what I want to do for the rest of my life, the rope calves.
I love how your dad, you weren't into the fighting as much as he was. You didn't want to run barrels and you wanted to rope. And he said, no, you're doing this. You're going to get that athletic side of it. And then here we are.
Yes, ma'am. It's a kind of fun to see, like um, I'm the only one that pretty much mess with horse in my family. It's not that I was. Well, here in Texas, most of the kids that rope, they come from the family ropers, or either their dad or their granddad. They all rope. They grew up roping, and they always been involved in that. Like, I wasn't meant to be a roper, Like
Hmm.
it's just fun to see how it turns out. Um, I don't know. I think it's just God's plan, to be honest. The way that I came from a place that is not very popular to rope calves, and a family that's not supposed to have a kid roping calves or something like that. And I'm here to chase my dreams as a calf roper now.
I love it. I would love to hear a little bit about the calf roping community over there.
Well, of course, there's Marcos Costa, the first Brazilian world champion in the calf roping, and there's a few other guys that have came before Marcos. They rope over here and stuff. Uh, but that really being successful as a professional calf roper is pretty much just Marxist. Um, Calf rope been growing a lot in Brazil lately. Since I moved over here, it's been 5 years. It really grown a lot from what I can see from here. I haven't been back in Brazil since the day I came up here, but
Mm,
I'm excited to go here soon. Um, but it seems to be that calf rope is paying a lot more and a lot more place to go compete at now than it was whenever I was there. Um, and there's a lot of talent in Brazil. There's a lot of young guys that can really rope. They have good horses and they have talent. Um, it's growing a lot down there.
that's really fun. So you came over in 2019?
2019, that's correct.
Okay. Has it been hard to not go back since then?
Yes, it haven't been easy. Um, I only got to see anybody from my family a couple of years ago. My grandparents came up here and spent about 10, 12 days with me, and but other than that, I hadn't having contact with anyone of my family. That's the biggest part, I think. I miss Brazil. I miss some friends, and I miss a lot of stuff that we don't have over here that is just part of home. But
Hmm.
I think I got used to life up here and being a little more by myself. So I think I got used to it now. But I'm excited to go here soon. I need to. It's been too long.
This episode is presented by the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza. The Pink, Ruby, and Riata Buckles will combine their breakaway roping efforts into one mega event for the progeny of stallions across all three programs, doubling the number of available horses and doubling the payout for the fall of 2024. This collaboration will guarantee a $200,000 purse with a $50,000 guarantee for 5 and under breakaway horses. These changes will make this contest one of the largest in the world, if not the largest breakaway purse offered this season. The Buckle Breakaway Bonanza is coming this fall, September 29th, 2024.
All right. So let's discuss kind of what your time here in the US has looked like. Um, did you work with trainers for these last 5 years and then finally decide you wanted to go pro? Have you been amateur roping? Just kind of walk me through that.
Okay, so whenever I first came over here, I went to live with Blair Berg. He was the one that invited me to come over here. We had a mutual friend um, that lived with him a few years back, and that's how I got up here. Blair invited me to come live with him, and I lived with him for about a year, I think. And then I went to a few amateur rotos. I went to a couple ropings. I did good in some small ropings and small rotos in the beginning here. Um, I competed a little bit 19 and under. That was my last year, 19 and under. I didn't go everywhere, but I went to a couple ropings. And then I went to learn how to shoe horses. My roping wasn't going. I my roping wasn't going as I expect, and I had to learn so much. Coming from Brazil, I had to improve so much, and I couldn't live as a roper at a time, so I had to figure out ways to work. Do some extra work, and I learned how to shoe horse with Charlie Thompson. That's a guy that guided me and has shown me so much stuff. That's a guy that knows so much about a horse and roping, and and then I stayed with Shane Hench for about 6 months. I stayed at his house over there with him, roping with him. And then I was when I went to live with Marcos Costa. And that guy has changed my life, like that guy. Um, he showed me so much about training a horse, of just a horsemanship in general. Um, he knows so much, and he has taught me so much, not just in arena but outside the arena too. That's a big brother to me. He's a great role model, I think, and and he has guided me so much.
That's fantastic. How many years have you been over at his place?
I live with Marks for about 3 years, I'd say.
Okay. Awesome.
Yes, man.
Horsemanship wise, what have been some of the things that you've really grown on since you've been here?
Yes, ma'am. For sure. There's two types of horse training. I think there's a horse training as you train horses or you study horses, and horse training to tune your horse up and keep them sharp.
Mm-hmm.
And I know how to tune you one up, change some bridles and things like that. But as a starter and have the feel to know when you need to advance with a horse or when you need to back off on a horse.
Mm-hmm.
I learned so much of that from Marx. He he he's he's so good with a young horse. He knows so much of a horse that it's crazy.
Yeah, that's the part that's really hard, right? Because, like you said, you need to know when you need to push and when you need to back off.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, what made 2024 the year that you were thinking, okay, this is going to be my rookie year?
Well, to be honest, I was started to stay in Texas. I thought I felt like I was ready to rotor. I wasn't set up to do it, but roping wise and mentally, that I'm ready for it. So I decided to buy my card in right before the circuit finals last year. I made the Texas circuit finals 2 years over here, and then I was like, no, I'm gonna buy my card and see how it goes. If it goes good, I have the opportunity to rotor all year long. That's great. If it doesn't, I come back to Texas and rotor down here a little bit more, and it's been good so far. I haven't had much luck in the beginning of the year. I hadn't draw very good, didn't rope as I was supposed to at some places, but I had some good moments too. I had a good moment on the RFA. That's the Roping Futures of America.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I I I shown 3 or 4 years old that I trained myself and came from Slater River Ranch, and John Mitchell started me the cutting, and then I started roping on him, and we were successful over there. I won second the big roping and won the shootout. So that was a big push in my year, I think. And then I started having a little bit more lucky here and there in the pro rotas. I made a good run in the Rook Roundup, and I'm trying to keep the hot moment or the ball rolling from there.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Are you thinking you're going to go out for the summer, or are you going to stick around Texas?
I'm gonna go some. I mean, Greeley and Reno. I'm going to those, and I'm not gonna hit everywhere, but I'm gonna try to go some.
That's awesome.
Yes, ma'am. I'm excited.
I just pulled up your Facebook. That's a cute little roan horse.
That's a good horse. That's a
Sweet.
good horse right there.
As a roper, what would you say is something that defines your style? What's something that you're good at?
I don't know. I get pretty critical at myself, you know. I think that everything needs to improve, but um, as a roper, as a professional roper, I'd say my mentality. I learned how to lose, so I I think that I don't let that bother me much, you know. Um, I think the more you think about whenever things don't go good, because it's not gonna go good every time. More you learn from that and you move on. I think that pushes you forward and keeps you different from the pack in the sometimes, you know. Um, I think
Totally.
my mentality and my horsemanship, I think is my my strongest point.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, you said you'd had a couple tough months here at the beginning of 2024, but your mentality is keeping you going with it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I mean, it needs to, and I feel like it don't need it doesn't take much to change. You know, I think if you have a good mentality, a good attitude, and stay positive, and stay working hard at it, and moving the right path, things can change pretty quick. You know, it doesn't take much to turn things around.
I completely agree. And are you still shoeing horses, or are you just doing this rodeo thing full time?
I shoot some horse whenever I have some extra time. I I I try to stay busy, you know, like whenever I'm not roping or I'm not practicing, I try to work. It doesn't matter what, but I try to stay busy. I don't like to sit and hang out much. I like to stay busy.
So you're riding a red roan a lot in the pro rodeos. Can you tell me a little bit about him?
That's Hollywood. He's 8 or 9 years old. Um, Marcus bought him as a 3 years old, broke him and trained him himself. And I went to live with Marcus, and the horse was young. I had another horse that I could ride that I went to some amateur rodeos that was 2021, I think. Um, I started doing pretty good here and there in the amateur rodeos. Uh, and then the horse that I was riding got sick, and Marcus was gone in the summer. And my horse Hollywood, he was about 5 years old at the time, but he hadn't had been many places yet. Probably went to a couple jackpots, but that's about it. And Marks was like, "Oh well." I think it was 4th of July whenever the other horse got sick. So Marks just said, "Well, you can take the room. Just be careful. That's my next horse right there." And I said, "No, don't worry. I'm gonna take good care of him." And so I started taking to some amateurs and made the CPRA finals that year and end up winning the average. We had a good time down there. We won. I think we placed in every round and won the average. And
Nice.
from there, in the next year, I bought my permit and I I I made the circuit finals in the 2022, and pretty much everywhere I went, I rode my room, you know. And 2023 it was about the same way. We had some good wins. I won Abilene, and I won some big rotas on him, Longview in the field. And for the past 3 years, that's the horse I've been riding everywhere. You know, he's very special. He's tough and he's so super honest. Things things. Doesn't matter much how he's feeling. He's gonna try his best, and of course, horses. I feel like they're kind of like us, you know, like they're not like you don't feel your best every single day, but what matters is your try. I think he has a lot of try on him, and he he gives me his all every time. I know that.
That's awesome. It's going to be hard to give him back to Marcus, it sounds like.
No, he's actually mine now. I bought him. I think it was middle 23, and I bought him, and he's ours now. But Marks can get on anytime he needs.
There you go. There you go. You said I
Yes,
had to make
ma'am.
this one mine.
Yes, ma'am. That one needs to be mine. He is so special to me. You know, like well, I still don't, but I didn't have much whenever I first moved to Marx's. Uh, I didn't have pretty much anything, and today I'm blessed to have a trailer, a truck, and a horse, and that's all because of him. You know, like he helped me so much along the way. It
Yeah.
means a lot to
And
me.
I'm sure you've put in the work as well.
Yes, ma'am. Just haul him, and well, coming from Marks, he made it easy, you know. But I haven't been able to mess him up yet.
There you go. Sometimes the
Yes,
good
ma'am.
ones are hard to mess up.
I know, and believe me, I tried. I
Good
tried.
deal. Well, Gio, thank you so much for your time this morning. Best of luck and safe travels to your next pro rodeos, and hopefully we'll see your name on those stand-ins a little bit more coming in the next few months.
Yes, ma'am. Thank y'all for having me.
Thank you guys for sticking around and hearing Gio's story. We're rooting for you this summer, Gio, as with all the Resistol Rookie of the Year contenders, of course. Make sure you go and learn more about the Buckle Breakaway Bonanza. Like I said, this is a $200,000 guaranteed purse with a $50,000 guarantee for 500 breakaway horses. This is going to be one of the biggest breakaway opens, and you're going to want to be a part of it.